Hey Thesis team, this is Charles. We're gonna chat a little bit about, how the summer went, and I hope everyone did well for the most part. Obviously procrastination was a big deal for me, like probably for all of us. But well, when I went to Pittsburgh is when I really started working on my project the most. Like I had met with Coach Stevens once, but then after that I just kind of forgot about it. But then I went to Pittsburgh, did this business thing, but I had a ton of downtime and I had nothing to do. I was just sitting in the office. So I might as well just, research some thesis, do some crime stats for New Orleans that I found on the internet, and then I started just reading through books, and that's when I really started getting going, getting pumped about it. That was probably beginning of June. So was like, God, I better. I mean, no, not beginning of June, beginning of July. I was like, I better start going because I only have a month left. And so I found two books that saved me, as in I needed a ton of quotes and evidence that talked about with New Orleans, because mine is focuses on New Orleans almost completely. And so I found these two bad boys. This one is called Drew Brees Coming Back Stronger, and it talks about his relationship with the city, and and then the relationship with the Saints with the city. And I don't know, it was really cool just to hear from his perspective what he thought of New Orleans coming in as a new player and so forth. And then this book is called Bags to Riches. I mean, From Bags to Riches, and this talks about how it's somewhat similar to my emotional, psychological part, and it talks a lot about how for example, one of the little subtitles is how the New Orleans Saints and the people of their hometown rose from the decks together. So basically how the New Orleans used Saints as a symbol for recovery. And I got a bunch of quotes in there from natives and famous people from New Orleans, what they thought New Orleans went through after Katrina, and how the Saints positively affected them during the '06 season and the Super Bowl win that was in 2010. And then this book that I have had for a while is about the economic stuff and blah blah blah. It's not that important. Anyways, that's where I got a ton of my stuff this summer, is through books. And I mean I procrastinated a little bit, but once I started getting going, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. And let's see, my first 10 pages I didn't really redo per se, but I spiced it up a little, try to get more stats, more dates, more claims in there with the economic part. Okay, 1 second, Megan's calling me. Hey Megan. Hey, I'm doing my video and right now I'm recording, so can I call you back in a second? But you can come right now. Okay, bye. Megan, Okay, so let's see. We are back on. So first 10 pages kind of is economic part, and I talk about how the economic impact is not as great as you see. I prove a bunch of facts, like statistics and stuff, and then I throw in but a wrench and saying, oh, but wait, if you have a national event, the franchise and the facility it brings that the facility has in the city can actually bring this tremendous monetary value impact, and can help the infrastructure and the future of improvements throughout the city, because they want to prepare for the Super Bowl and make it all fancy looking. And the next 10 pages was more difficult, but fortunately I got Brad Aberstad, who's the director of photography. I got an interview with him, and he just gave me a bunch of stuff that I could do with psychological part. He gave me photos, and he gave me a bunch of quotes and from famous people, and he gave himself his own views, because he was there at the Super Bowl with the team in the locker room. He's been there for almost, I want to say almost 20 years, 18 maybe. So he gave me a bunch of insightful stuff. So I drew conclusions saying having a sports franchise is so much more than just the monetary value. Although there are certain circumstances that monetary value is helpful from the sports franchise, it's all about the psychological, the emotional impact the team brings. So I try to argue, the first 10 pages I argue how there's only a few ways, there's the only way I could find for there to be a true economic impact from a professional sports franchise is to use its facilities for a national event to bring in a whole bunch of new money, so that's the economic boom. And then the second part of my thesis talks about the incredible psychological impact that a sports franchise can have on a city. I mean, on a city focusing on New Orleans with the aftermath of Katrina and like what they did to help the recovery of New Orleans. And so then in my last paragraph, I talk about, I don't know, should I be even doing this? I don't know if I should be telling you about the paper, how the summer went. My summer went well. I'm just ADD right now. My summer went well. San Francisco, we went there. I loved it, and that's why I worked on my thesis a lot. And so basically, I don't know. I hopefully it went well, but let Miss Sutcliffe decide on that. And I hope everyone had a good summer. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Woo! Bye.